not very often that one can say they are interviewing their worst living nightmare, but I might be one of them. Jason Voorhees, the most scariest, meanest killer.
Misunderstood killer.
All right, you know. And this, I want to say young man because you look incredible, Kane Hodder, is the original, and I have to honestly say, you scared the living daylights out of me.
Good, that was my job. And by the way, when you say original, that would be meaning the first, but there has been other guys that played Jason before me, but they did one movie each. I did four of the films in a row, so I kind of claim that hockey mask more. I have far more kills than anyone else. The lady over there is giving me the evil eye. I'm gonna do something to her after we're done.
Okay, I'm going to say that you embody Jason in so many different ways, but let's go back. How did you even get into the whole business?
Yeah, I just decided while I was in college that I wanted to become a stuntman in films, and I just loved the idea of doing stunts and that kind of stuff. So in between semesters at school, I went to a stunt school to see if I really did like it, and I just fell in love with the business and decided I wanted to be a stuntman. It took forever to actually start working because it's a very tough business to break into because of, you know, safety issues.
Right.
And eventually I started working, just loved it, and the more I worked, the more I knew that's where I wanted to be. And I had done a movie called Prison with Rennie Harlan, and I did the stunts in it, and they asked me to play a character at the end that was in a full makeup, full latex body makeup. I had never done it before. Dentures, lenses, 3.5 hours of makeup, and I loved it. And the makeup effects guy that was doing that movie loved how I worked in the makeup because that's a whole specialized thing. And he hired me the following year to play Jason in the Friday the 13th movie he was directing, Part 7. And based on that performance, I continued, but that's how it all started. I never anticipated being known for anything. I just wanted to be a stuntman, and that's why I think I appreciate the notoriety so much, because I never expected it.
Well, when you put that costume on, Kane, do you become somebody else? I mean, and the character you play, you didn't talk, but boy, oh boy, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, anybody that's worked with me will say I'm a little method when it comes to the character. I take it seriously, and if that hockey mask is on, then I'm in character. I'll listen to the director and things like that, but once the mask is on, I like to pretty much stay in character. And, you know, hopefully it wasn't to the point of being annoying to people, but it just helped me focus and be more on target with the performance.
Well, during that time, horror movies, I mean, there's a buzz. I mean, they were so popular. You look at horror movies now, how have they changed and how have they affected you?
I never really thought horror movies were scary, any of them, but I found them vastly entertaining. I loved seeing what kind of new horror angle people could come up with. When the Blair Witch came out, I thought it was brilliant. Then, you know, the Saw series. I was just with Tobin Bell last weekend in Atlanta at an appearance. And, you know, anytime something new comes around in the horror genre, I'm impressed, because that's pretty hard to do, especially now, coming up with a new idea. But I've always loved it. Ever since I was a kid, the classic, you know, Universal monsters, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy. I always loved that stuff as a kid, and I kind of patterned my portrayal of Jason a little bit after the classic Frankenstein, maybe a little more unpredictable than he was, but not very much.
What have you done lately, Kane, with Friday the 13th?
Well, I just finished, or did most of the motion capture for the Friday the 13th video game that's coming out this year. We did all the scenes, all the kill scenes, and I brought in 2 stunt people and just beat the heck out of them all day long for a week. And the game is going to be incredible. It's the official Friday the 13th game. I did the motion capture for Jason, of course, and I was honored that the game owners decided that I should play the character, because it could have been other people.
Yeah.
But I was very, very happy that they wanted me to, and so it was fun being back in character, even though I wasn't wearing the costume. But what was interesting, and I didn't expect this, was that while we're doing the motion capture, I didn't realize they had this capability. You're in the motion capture suit with all the sensors on it, so you look ridiculous. But on a live feed, you can look at a monitor and see the animated version. So I could look at the screen, and whatever movements I was doing, it was Jason on the screen. And it was so amazing that I really don't know how they have that capability, but it was good to be able to see, and do I look like I like that angle and stuff like that, and then we shoot it. So it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it to come out.
Why do you think Jason is so popular?
That's a pretty good question. I'm not sure. I mean, once, you know, sometimes the background of the character plays into how people feel about the character, even though he's incredibly violent. You know, there was kind of a sympathetic past to Jason's childhood. And interestingly enough, I had a book came out on my life a couple years ago called Unmasked. And I talk about everything in my life, including stuff that's difficult subject matter. And without fail, that's what people respond to the most. You know, I was bullied really badly when I was a kid. I mean, beaten up and really bad. And, you know, getting through something like that, and then I was burned in my first year in the stunt business and almost died as a result. So that whole story, those kind of things is what people really respond to, and people tell me all the time that they've read my book 3 times or 4 times. I'm like, how do you read a book more than once you've read it? But that's very flattering to me. It's just because of the human stuff that I talk about in the book that people are like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So very rewarding to hear comments like that.
Wow, so in a certain way, life has come full circle for you. I mean, you're still ever popular working, and I guess out of all of this, Kane, what have you learned personally, and how has that changed your life?
Well, I've learned that everything you do in your career, especially if you're an actor, you have to be careful because it can have an impact on someone, and good or bad. Fortunately, most of the stories that I've heard are good things, and because I went into this business to be someone in the background, a stunt performer, I would have been happy with just a successful stunt career. I think I appreciate the fact that people want me to sign stuff and want to take a picture with me. I never expected that, never got into this business for that. A lot of people do. You know, people want to be actors because they want to be famous. I never thought that would happen. So the fact that it has on some level, I feel really, really appreciative. I appreciate all the fans, and it's, you know, people will stop me just on the street and want to take a picture, and they feel so bad that, oh, sorry to interrupt you, and I'm like, why would you be sorry? What? I'm just walking. Why is that such an, you know, an imposition? So I'm always amazed that they're kind of afraid to do stuff like that, because I guess some actors are not that approachable or whatever. But I will say that from my experience, the actors that are the nicest are the ones that play the most terrible characters. And the ones that are not so nice are like the ones that play the characters you love, like the comic roles.
Because they're acting.
I guess. But I just appreciate everything, and I always appreciate the fans, and you know, I feel very fortunate to be where I am.
We thank you, Kane, for all those years of terrifying us, but I honestly say Jason does have a heart.
Oh, isn't that nice? Now I'm going to kill her.
For Shaw TV, I'm Tracy Koga.